I don't know much, but I know that.
All right.
Hey, David.
It having reached the hour of 5:30, I am calling the March 12th, 2024 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Vice Mayor Alvarez,
Here.
Councilmember Ricky,
Here.
Councilmember Bavaro,
Here.
Councilmember Williams,
Here.
Councilmember Wright,
Here.
Councilmember Squickia Brayton,
Here.
and Mayor Zwallen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Jeff Pishney with Love Stanislaus. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I offer this invocation, I just want to appreciate each of you for your support, your encouragement these last 15 years of Love Modesto. This year will be our 16th year, and we already have over 100 projects, over 1,000 people signed up. We're like pre-COVID. Like it's neat to see our city coming back and people getting involved. So I just want to say thank you for your support. This year, April 27th, always the last Saturday in April, will be one of 15 cities in our area loving on our cities. So thank you for loving Modesto. Let me pray. God, thank you for our city that we get to reside in. This is our home, and we love our home. And God, we know that you love Modesto as much as we love Modesto. God, I thank you for my leaders. I stand before here. God, I'm just grateful for their lives. God, I pray blessings on each of them, on their employment, on their families, and on their role here in leading our city. And God, I pray that tonight that you'd give them wisdom beyond themselves in the decisions that they have to make. And God, I pray for civility and respect in this room here tonight, and as much as possible, unity. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I have a comment to make. We are incredibly saddened to hear of the passing of Richard Dick Monteith, a cherished husband, father, grandfather, and dedicated public steward who was elected to the California State Senate for the 12th District in 1994, serving 2 terms from 1994 to 2002. Mr. Monteith was elected to the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors in 2007 and served on the board for 12 years. The former Stanislaus County chair had a rich history in the Central Valley, growing up in the Merced and Stanislaus County public schools, graduating from Turlock High School and earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology from Stanford University, where he played football. Mr. Monteith had a lifelong career in agribusiness as a partner in Monteith Tractor Truck Company, and he held positions for organizations like Gallo Wines and Middleton Packaging prior to be elected to public office. Mr. Monteith had a love for local government in Stanislaus County and the surrounding region, with a reputation for always being prepared and fiscally responsible. He often turned his attention towards the most vulnerable populations and was a tremendous advocate in our community, improving the quality of life for our residents. In his 2011 State of the County speech as the chairman of the board for Stanislaus County, Mr. Monteith called on members of the public to, and I quote, engage with civility and to treat each other with respect, unquote. A sentiment we all hold true today. We will have a moment of silence for Mr. Monteith. Thank you. All right, does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor, just 2 announcements. A reminder, public comment is 3 minutes, and there are blue speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers. In addition, written public comment was received and forwarded to the council.
Thank you. We did receive it. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? All right, thank you. Will the city attorney report out on closed session, please?
Yes, Mayor. Closed session was held today on issues related to existing litigation, anticipated litigation, and labor negotiations. No reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Next, we have a presentation of the 2024 Senate District 4 honoree for the 2024 California Woman Making History. So we will have a presentation from Senator Marie Alvarado Gill's staff to Adriana Garcia, 2024 Senate District 4 honoree for the 2024 California Woman Making History. Herstory, excuse me. Herstory. I said that
Tricky word.
incorrectly. Herstory. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So good evening, City of Modesto Council, Mayor. My name is Destiny Suarez. I am here on behalf of Senator Marie Alvarado Gill with my fellow colleague, Representative Jacob Folder. And we want to apologize in advance. The senator wanted to eagerly be here but had an emergency and could no longer make it. However, she is sending her love and excitement to Adriana and left me with some remarks on her behalf. So before we jump into this, our office wanted to thank the City of Modesto and the council for welcoming us with open arms and allowing us to come present this award to such a wonderful person. So some brief background on why we are here. Back in mid-January, our office opened up nominations for Senate District 4 honoree for 2024 California Making Her Story. This was a month-long process of collecting a large number of names across all 13 counties and then going through those and selecting honorees to recognize across the district. Nomination requirements were to be a woman, 18 years of age or older, live in Senate District 4, submit a resume, biography, or list of accomplishments, and then a local elected official had to submit a letter of recommendation answering, how has this woman influenced your community to create a better place for all? Adriana's name was dropped into the selection by her husband, CEO and president of Stanislaus Latino Chamber, Johnny Garcia, who's here today with us. In addition to Mr. Garcia's nominating her, Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Alvarez, and Councilmember Ascutia Bratton also supported her nomination for this award. Adriana Garcia came to this country when she was only 9 years old. At a young age, when a child should be a child, she had to take on the responsibility not only of learning English, but of being the translator for her family for appointments, bills, teacher meetings, grocery shopping, and even doctor visits. From a young age, she has always been one to help others. Fast forward to today, Adriana is an active member of the Stanislaus Latino Chamber, and has taken on multiple roles, including chair of their ambassador program, chair of the advisory committee, and vice chair of the events committee. She is also part of the city ministry board. Adriana's passion for volunteering is evident as she participates in various activities like the Modesto Gospel Mission, Salvation Army, Love Modesto, and her church. And even if you had an event and she found out about it, you will see her there. Adriana is a business owner and a role model for her family. She ensures that her loved ones participate in community events, and her leadership has raised her children well. Her son is serving in the U.S. Navy, protecting our country, and her daughter is always by her side at events and volunteer opportunities to learn what it means to help others and give back to the community. Adriana can be described as a bright, compassionate person who always goes above and beyond to help others without asking for anything in return. She faces challenges with such an optimistic and courageous attitude and does everything with a smile. It is through this selflessness and compassion that she carries herself with is why our office saw her deserving of being honored as Senate District 4 honoree for 2024 California Making Her Story. Adriana, our office has had the privilege of seeing you in action out in the community. We admire your positivity and always look forward to your bright, shining energy. This award is just the beginning, but it can be seen as a testament to the time, energy, love, and care you give into the community. Now, with all that said, before I want to hand off this beautiful resolution to you, I will go ahead and give it back to the mayor to see if the nominators would like to say a few words.
All right, do we have any comments from council members? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Of course, Adriana, you are so well deserving. You know, there's a saying, it's not what you do for yourself, it's what you do for others that makes the difference. And you have done that repeatedly in all aspects of your life and in this community. It didn't go unnoticed. Congratulations tonight to you for all your accomplishments. But beyond that, even more so the things that you're going to accomplish as time progresses. So thank you for being a Modestian and supporting us as well on the council.
All right. Councilmember Scooty Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Adriana, congratulations on this very well-deserved award. I admire you because of your compassion and your dedication to your family, to your community, and just serving people. And you are very deserving of this recognition. Thank you for being a community member in here in the city of Modesto.
All right. Any other comments? Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. You were a real true servant leader. I learned some of my leadership qualities from you and Johnny, which is a part of the reason why I'm sitting up here today over the last 8 years of being a member of the chamber, the Latino chamber. When I was there, it was the Central Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. But I wrote a blurb here as I was thinking about your nomination, and so I'm just going to read it. I think it really conveyed how I view you and how I see you in the community. So I'm just going to read it off. Adriana is a true servant leader with a heart for community. She's a hard worker, not in the cliche sense, not that she goes out and gathers titles to put on a laundry list of empty accomplishments. She works without promise of reward, outside the spotlight. She clearly cares deeply for her community, for our community, and there's nothing pretentious about her. Humble, perhaps to a fault, it probably allows others to benefit from her work without giving proper credit where credit's due. But it's people like Adriana we need more of. It's people like you we need more of. She's the kind of person you want to work with. A good egg, if any can still be said to exist. So congratulations on behalf of the City of Modesto.
All right. Any other comments? Congratulations. I see you everywhere. So these words definitely ring true. So thank you for being here this evening. And we appreciate all of your attendance tonight. And I'll now ask the council to join us at the podium for the commendation.
Congratulations. Thank you. Yay.
I am truly honored. Thank you all for believing in me. I remember my father telling me when we were just getting here that you keep your head down and you do everything the right way because people are looking at you and we're not wanted here. So you keep your head down and just work hard. And if you don't mind, I would like to say a couple of words in Spanish because I am dedicating it to my family, and most of them still don't speak English. Estoy muy orgullosa de estar aquí. Papi, yo me acuerdo cuando nos decías que no nos querían aquí, que teníamos que portarnos bien y hacer todo bien para no dar excusas, porque ya no estábamos bienvenidos aquí. No era nuestro lugar. Pero mira, hay unos que sí me quieren. Me los gané. Yo sé que fue muy difícil, todos los sacrificios, y yo me siento muy agradecida de tener este reconocimiento, porque todo lo que yo hago, de veras lo hago de corazón. Lo hago para mi familia, mis hijos, mi esposo. Yo quiero hacer lo mejor por ellos y por todos los que me van a seguir. Yo sé lo que se siente venir a un lugar donde no conoces el lenguaje, donde no conoces las tradiciones y sentirte tan solo. Y yo quiero ser ese apoyo para las personas que vienen para poder ayudar. Así como mi prima, que acaba de recibir su licencia. I'm just so honored. I'm blessed to be able to help those like me that came here and felt like they didn't belong, that still don't speak the language. And I think that is my favorite part, that because of all the struggles that I went through, and I still make mistakes with English, but it has helped me to be able to help others. And everything that I do, I truly do it from the heart. And I feel undeserving. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
And you're welcome. Congratulations again. Right. Next item is a proclamation declaring March 2024 as American Red Cross Month. I will read the proclamation. During America Red Cross Month in March, we recognize the compassion of people in Modesto and reaffirm our commitment to care for one another in times of crisis. This generous spirit is woven into the fabric of our community and advances the humanitarian legacy of American Red Cross founder Clara Barton, one of the most honored women in our country's history, who nobly dedicated herself to alleviating suffering. The contributions of local Red Cross volunteers give hope to the most vulnerable in their darkest hours. Last year in Stanislaus County, volunteers serviced 389 clients affected by home fires and disasters by addressing their urgent needs like food and lodging, as well as providing recovery support. In addition, they installed 65 smoke alarms, collected 11,984 blood donations, provided first aid and CPR training to 5,161 residents, and assisted 209 families of our armed forces. We hereby recognize this month of March in honor of all those who lead with their hearts to serve people in need, and we ask everyone to join in this commitment to strengthen our community. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, hereby proclaim March 2024 as American Red Cross Month and encourage all residents of Modesto to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. Accepting will be Jim Horning from the Chairman Heart of the Valley chapter. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And on behalf of the volunteers of Red Cross,
would you please speak into the microphone so everyone can hear you at home?
Absolutely.
Also?
My favorite thing to do. And on behalf of the Volunteers Red Cross, who this evening actually are all at a training. We get a lot of training so that when we arrive at disasters, we're fully prepared. And so that's where they all are tonight, except for the board members, the two of us who are on the board. And so thank you very much. Congress actually gave us our authority to go out and help people when there are disasters in 1900. And they did everything except give us any money to do it and people to do it. So 90% of the effort that goes into a disaster is done by volunteers. We absolutely could not do our service to help people rebuild their lives, start rebuilding their lives without those volunteers. The other thing they didn't do is they didn't give us any money to do it. So we are absolutely totally dependent on the generosity of our donors to be able to accomplish that mission. The huge number that I'd like everybody to remember is that 90% of the money that is donated to Red Cross goes towards our mission. That's a really big number. It's one that we're very proud of. So thank you. Thank you for honoring us. Thank you on behalf of the volunteers. We appreciate it very much.
You're welcome. Don't leave yet. Are there any comments from council members? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, thank you, Red Cross, for everything you do in this community, particularly when there was a huge flood. I think it was in 1987 or 97, and there were so many people, community members, citizens that were flooded. Their houses were gone. It was mainly on West Modesto, but the Red Cross was there to save the day. So thank you for that, and thank you for everything you do going forward.
Thank you for remembering. That was some time ago.
All right. Well, thank you for being here this evening, and I will now bring the proclamation down and present it. Don't leave yet.
He wants to go. Should we go?
All right, next is public comment time. As noted on the agenda, public comment will only be in person. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to address the city council is asked to follow the rules of decorum. The rules of decorum are posted at the entrance of the chambers. So I will now read the names from the blue cards in the order they were received. John X. Mataka.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. My name is John X. Mataka, and I'm the president of the Grayson Neighborhood Council and the community advocate for Valley Improvement Projects. I'm here tonight, along with other organizations throughout Stanislaus County and the state of California, to request that this council vote to immediately close the garbage incinerator Covanta located in Crow's Landing on the west side of Stanislaus County. The west side of Stanislaus County and the city and county as a whole have been negatively impacted by emissions that have a negative impact on air quality for the residents and the health of our communities. This council and and the county contract with Covanta guaranteeing that large amounts of solid waste and this undermines the county and the city's recycling efforts, favoring a polluter over public health and the environment. I ask this council to agree to the mutually agreed cessation of operations at the Covanta plant, or in layman's term, the immediate closure of the operations at the Covanta plant, and to aggressively adopt a resolution for an ambitious waste diversion plan. VIP has presented you and the county with a zero waste plan that was developed by the residents of Stanislaus County over a period of several months. I ask you to support VIP's recommendation to convene a working group combined of representatives of the community-based organizations, businesses, municipalities, the City of Modesto, and Stanislaus County. In closing, on a personal note, the west side residents of this county, which I am one of, have survived the tire incinerator fire in 1999, the attempted plan to burn medical waste at the Covanta plant, and the attempt to create a mega landfill at the Fink Road landfill. We are due reparations, and the closing of the Covanta incinerator is the start of these reparations. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Kenneth Bryan Evatt.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting me come in and speak.
Sure.
It's basically our civil rights. Now, I'm in this town, I own different multiple properties and everything. I had a burglar come in, and I wanted to arrest that burglar, and that's my civic duty. An officer turned around and stopped that person, but then let him go. Said, he's an honest man. We're just gonna let him go. I says, well, he says, I'm gonna call him, and then I'm gonna have him bring the stuff back he stole. I says, well, when he brings it back, I'm gonna arrest him. That's my civic duty to arrest that man. You're a witness. Well, the next day when I came in to inventory the stuff, 2 officers showed up and they arrested me for threatening the burglar that they would not want me to arrest. Now, I can't figure that out. Didn't take a statement from me, didn't ask me anything, threw me in 4 days in jail without the ability to turn around and take a shower, get cleaned up. They contaminated my cell, and they wouldn't let me make a phone call. Finally, I got one of the other inmates to turn around and make a phone call to my daughter. But I was in there 4 days. Now, I've asked a claim to drop this, and I've asked you guys, and I turned in a claim saying, hey, you know, this shouldn't be. Dismiss this case. This is ridiculous. We can't arrest burglars anymore. So it just comes to the point where you're going to arrest the man that owns the property that turns in the burglar, but the burglar can say whatever he wants. It's called a Darvo law. It's a reversal. They don't want to be caught. They spin it around on it. But then our officers back here, they turn around and won't do the training. Where's their training? They know I have a civil right to make an arrest. But instead, the next day, they go get the burglar and they meet him out on the edge of the county. As far as I could see, it's a collusion to go against us, the property owners. I go, we don't have a chance here, because if every time we get broken into, our civil rights are taken around, that we can't arrest the man, but we can arrest you because we know where you're at. It seems a little ridiculous, and you guys need to turn around and sit there and say, hey, we got to change this training. We got to support the ones that are paying the money and the tax money. I pay enough tax money out here for the 4 pieces of property I have to deal with, and this is what I get. I get thrown in jail, a $65,000 bond. I get to be a felon now that I have to fight over for doing nothing, just on a man's word that stole stuff from me, because an officer wouldn't let me do my civic duty to arrest that man the day before. Now you tell me, is that justice? Is it? And here I sit, and your own prosecutors, your prosecutors uphold this stuff with no evidence, and they just force it upon us. Why do they force it upon us? Because they want to be winners. It doesn't matter what they want me to negotiate it down to a misdemeanor. Oh, just go away. You've lost your money. What about my $65,000? What about the contamination in your jails? I wind up with scabies because they contaminated my cell. They put a man in, it's all on camera, it's all on video, but does anybody care? No, they don't care. You want my tax money, you want to find me, oh, he's guilty, we're going to charge him. And the burglar is set free, a little drug addict. And then the county even appoints a little drug addict, 13-year-old girl to these people. Now, why would they put her in the hands of drug addicts to raise? They need a normal family.
All right.
But why
You've
is
exceeded your time limit, so please
it is? But this
finish.
is what's going on, and we have to make a change here. I really don't care. We need a change here. Us property owners need to
All
be
right, you need
protected
to
from the
speak to
government,
us, yeah.
the burglars,
All right.
and the people that are breaking the law and stealing our cars.
All right. Thank you for your
There has to be a
comment.
change, and it starts there. You have a complaint from me, you guys look at it. You'll get every code section that they broke in that.
All right.
And it's out, you want the number of it? I'll give you the number.
That's
of the
okay.
claim.
Your time is up. Thank you. John Frayling?
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. Good to see you all. Looks like everybody's healthy. That's a good sign. So I'm thinking about the homeless issues that we have in this county. And I think of it on a continuum from the person in the street to the person who we have successfully put into a place where they can live and they can work. And I'm thinking that the City of Modesto and the county has done an absolutely fabulous job on the middle of that transition. Where we seem to have problems is on the far ends. I'm thinking about how little we have in the way of affordable housing in this city and in this county, and how little you get for the housing that you pay for here. And so I'm thinking, we as a town need to do more. We need to do something that is going to allow people to have a place to go once they have graduated through our system from bridge housing on out. And on the other end, we've done great things when it comes to, say, from the beginning of the bridge housing when somebody is sheltered to getting them through maybe the Kansas house or the other locations that we have. But we still haven't figured out how to get the people who are on the street into a camping area or some shelter area that is going to be safe. So these are problems. I'm trying to work with some other folks to see if we can help you all solve them. And I'm just bringing these up because I think it's important for us to remember that this has not gone away. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. All right. Next is Danielle Morgart.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. My name is Danielle Morgar. I'm here on behalf of Assemblymember Alan Neese. I originally didn't have anything to report tonight, but actually we have some really good news coming from the Assembly floor today, or from committee. AB 1880 on fighting child exploitation on social media, AB 1839 law enforcement agency hiring grants for police officers, and AB 1927 Golden State scholarships for career technical education instructors all passed committee today and are now heading to the assembly floor. I also just want to remind everybody, if there's anything that the office can do, please don't hesitate on reaching out, or if there's any questions on legislation, please don't hesitate on reaching out. Thank you and have a good evening.
You too. Laura Placencia.
Hi, good evening, City Council and community members. My name is Laura Placencia, and I'm a community organizer. I'm here with John and Bianca from Valley Improvement Projects. We're a nonprofit based off Stanislaus County, focused on social and environmental justice. And we are here today to continue with the advocacy in regards to adopting the zero waste plan and delaying or stopping the continuation of the incinerator, exploring the idea of raising tipping fees or bringing special waste. I'd like to, first of all, also thank community members for all the support that they have shown us, whether that's being part of our zero waste champions, creating principles and priorities for zero waste for our county, along with submitting letters and making calls to continue the development of zero waste, along with many other organizations that are as excited about zero waste throughout the rest of the state. And I'd like to also define what zero waste is, because we've had some pushback back in regards to what it means. So zero waste or waste minimization is a set of principles focused on waste prevention that encourages redesigning resource life cycles, ensuring that all products are redesigned or repurposed or reused. So overall, zero waste is a journey. It's not a destination. It is a journey to reaching actual sustainability, or the ability to be able to sustain things at the same rate. We would like to continue the forefront of zero waste practices and implementations in our county, and stop in the practice of incineration, which adds more pollution to our community. And we would also like to talk about incineration kind of like a false solution, where they throw the idea of generating energy, but the energy that they generate is very little for the amount that they end up polluting. And some of these practices call themselves words like sustainable, circular, renewable, yet renewable is actually depending on a renewable resource and not a resource that is depleted. Incineration depends on waste as the source, and it encourages more and more waste in order to be viable financially. So we want actual sustainability, where we are ensuring that the rates of our resources are maintained the same, and where we're ensuring that we are not polluting our communities. Yeah, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Next is Steve. Next is Steve.
You know, Sue, I can't help but to notice that when this guy over here went a little bit over time, that Joe here didn't stick the cops on him for you without usurping your authority, because you are, as we already discussed, you and I and Jose here, we discussed that it's your job to run these meetings. Just wanted to point that out. First of all, I just want to say that I wholeheartedly agree with what VIP is asking tonight, and I just urge you guys to do the right thing. You have an opportunity to put the community ahead of corporate interests. I read the letter from Covanta. It's silly. I mean, their arguments are like, let us make all our money, okay? So I just urge you guys, they've presented very, very solid reasons, and I would just encourage you to vote and shut down the incinerator. Furthermore, I just want to remind everyone that Officer Sam Muncie murdered Paul Chavez. There was no reason for him to shoot and kill him. You guys obviously don't care, although you claim to care about public safety, I know. The same guy that threatened to fight me in the parking garage cares about public safety. Anyhow, the main reason I'm here tonight is I wanted to talk to you guys about the looming threat of Joseph LaMantia being allowed to return to stalk our streets with the, it's not funny. Not at all. You think things are funny that I don't think are funny. So I guess I got to get used to you smirking at me every time I talk. And everyone else thinks it's professional somehow. But basically, like, you guys know the story. And as everyone is fully aware, you, Sue, have been called out for lying and using the Brown Act incorrectly on purpose to try to silence your counsel. So I'm just going to read. These are the rules for public comment from the city's webpage. It says... oops. Oh, God. Come on, phone. Oh, thank you. That'll be easier for my old eyes to look at. Thank you. Let's see here. Public 3-minute time limit per speaker. Only interested persons in the audience may present these matters. Under state law, council members may respond to matters being presented under this item only as follows. A, briefly respond to statements made or questions raised. B, ask a question for clarification. C, provide a reference to staff or other resources for factual information. D, request staff to report back at a subsequent meeting. Or C, finally, a council member or the council itself may take action to direct staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. We are all fully aware that you guys yourselves don't have the privilege of deciding whether or not Lamontia is allowed to be a cop in this town again, but you guys are our elected officials and you represent us in theory. I would like to plead with you to at least have the decency to allow Trevor Seaver's mom, Darlene, to give testimony in the arbitration process. And I hope that you will, at the very least, oblige that. Darlene deserves that. She never deserved to have her son murdered by the police.
Next is Giancarlo.
Hi, Mayor. Hi, Council. So I'm here from the Central Valley BIPOC Coalition and also as a Modesto resident. Here just want to talk about the possible reinstatement of Joseph Lamontia with the Modesto Police Department. So I shared facts before last time I was here, and I just want to restate those, such as every year, about over 70% of U.S. police officers never fire their weapons, and there are some who have long careers without having to draw their gun on duty. But we have had a former police officer here who had murdered 5 people brutally, and there is over video evidence of that, specifically when he had murdered his 5th victim, Trevor Sear. May he rest in peace. Not only that, though, but we've also heard that the chief of police, Brandon Gillespie, told Trevor Seaver's mother, Darlene, that Lamontia is a liability to the NPD, the city, and that he does not want Lamontia back. So last time we were here, we also said that we just want to make sure that Joseph Lamontia cannot be in a part of law enforcement here ever again. And we want the mayor and the city council members to use their positions to really influence that or prevent him from really being back in law enforcement. We also want Trevor Seaver's mom to testify in Lamontia's upcoming arbitration. Trevor Seaver's mom, to testify in that arbitration hearing. And we want y'all support in that. And the thing is that we did provide y'all with our contact information last time, but we did not hear a response. So for this last minute and a half, I just wanted to come here and ask, see which one of y'all are going to meet with us to discuss this further, because we really want to discuss this and work with y'all to prevent this person from being back in the police. So which one of y'all will meet with us?
There's a process that you can contact any one of us, and we will decide if we're going to meet with you.
Okay, so
individually.
What is the process?
Email us.
Okay, and what if
szwallen@modestogov.com.
And what if I don't get a response? Then what?
You will get a response. I respond to everyone.
Okay. Besides the mayor, is there anybody else, Mr. Alvarez? I think you did get our contact info, but we haven't heard from you. Are you also willing to meet with us?
What's your full name?
I don't want to state that right now, but I can reach out to you if you would like.
I think we went to high school together.
Yes, I did. Okay. Class of 2010. Yes, nice. We did.
I believe I got an email from you all.
Yeah.
But it stated that I committed sometime in January.
Yeah, last time we were here. You got our contact info that you said you wanted our contact info, but we didn't get anybody to reach out.
Right, okay. I don't think I've ever said that, but I'm happy to meet with you. I just don't like things thrown in my court that aren't true. A. And B, can you state for the record what's your...
Central Valley BIPOC Coalition.
What's the acronym stand for?
So it's Coalition of People for Social Justice.
What's the BIPOC?
Central Valley Black Indigenous People of Color Coalition.
And you're representing who?
This group.
What? But you're speaking on behalf of what case?
Specifically with the arbitration process that Joseph Lamontia is in, and we do not want him to be reinstated.
Right. And what does BIPOC stand for? The acronym?
Yeah, Black Indigenous People of Color.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to meet with you.
Okay.
All right.
Should we reach out to you? Sorry. Or do you want to reach out back to us?
You've exceeded your time at this point, and you can reach us. Everyone knows how to reach us. You'll figure it out, I'm sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is Carla.
Hello, City Council and Mayor. It's actually very nerve-wracking being here since Modesto. I've been born and raised here. The reason I'm here for the first is because of Joseph Lamantia. I really hope that you guys do pressure MPD for Joseph Lamantia to never get reinstated again. Now I understand that when George Floyd protests were happening here in Modesto, the chief of police was like, I'm going to stop this protest from continuing because I don't want any riots to happen. Now I understand that when George Floyd was actually killed, the city was ready to dismiss the case and side with the police department there. Riots happened, the federal court got involved. I don't want that to happen in Modesto. Because 5 people have been killed in Modesto, and yet why was he still getting reinstated after the first person killing? It seems to me that police members are held at a lower standard than civilians. None of us can go ahead, and if I were to kill 5 people, I would be put in jail in the rest of my life, as I should be. With every action comes a consequence, and we should be holding those police officers with the consequence as well. Now, I've heard a lot of issues coming from other community members where housing was involved, where something very unjust happened, where the person was thrown in jail for 4 days. And that just shows that if this continues to happen and you allow police officers to get away with these murders, the people who pay the price are the people who put you guys in power, because it's our taxes who settle these lawsuits. It's not coming from MPT's budget, it'll come from your budget. So if you really want to enact change, let's stop this from even happening. Don't get other killer cops involved in the police. So that way we actually have money to change a lot of stuff. A lot of ideas, especially coming from Chris Rickey, are actually pretty good. We can have those ideas actually be enacted if we stop actually preventing a situation like this from happening, where there's protest. You guys are forced to pay out all of these settlements. Again, hold our police accountable. A lot of these police, especially since I grew up in Westside, I was grown to believe that these people protect us, and they did. I've seen it twice, but none of these police should be able to get away with killing even one person. There's always a way, and there's always a way to just let people live. They're here to protect us. Ensure that they're here to protect us. Do not let another killer cop in here. I don't want my taxes going to police settlements. I want my taxes to help out people like that homeless thing, valley improvement projects, things that we actually need. Thank you.
Next is Manuela.
Hello, everyone. My name is Manuela, and I am here to also talk about the arbitration with Joseph Lamantia. As you have hopefully heard tonight, we definitely do not need him reinstated. And again, we've got the arbitration going, but you do have your influence. I think it is sickening living in Modesto knowing that a cop has murdered 5 people and continued to, after the first person, continue to murder more people. I live in Modesto. You want to have safety? That's not safe. I don't feel safe around the cops because of things like this. So, I've already heard the facts that most cops, over 70%, do not ever fire their weapons. So then why was one person allowed to murder 5 people? 5 families, more than that, and their friends had to go to funerals, had to explain to their young child family members why someone was slaughtered by those who are supposed to protect us. So, now when we're looking at Trevor Seaver's case, we know that he had mental illness, and yet he was shot in the back as he was walking away. We've seen the video. It's disgusting to see that happen. So, on top of what can you do as city council to prevent someone like him and others in the future to ever be allowed to serve, right? They're to serve, not slaughter us, to serve in the Modesto PD. And also, what are your plans to prevent violence against people with mental illnesses, such as funding and expanding chat? And I would really like to hear from someone on city council right now.
We're not going to start a discussion about this. Again, you're free to reach out to any of us and we will have that discussion.
Okay, it's kind of sad because I think a lot of people here would just like to hear something, what you guys think about this situation and what you guys think as a city council, who we have elected you into this using our tax dollars, what you think in such situations. Should we allow a cop killer to come back? What if he applies for the Stanislaus County Sheriff Department? We can allow that to happen, or will you guys stand up? Will MPD stand up and be like, absolutely not. We cannot have this man anywhere in our county. Is this important? Because my nephew came to visit me the other day in Modesto. He wanted to be outside by himself, and I didn't let him. How can I explain to him that it is the cops part of the reason why it is unsafe in this town? I can't explain that to a 5-year-old. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment? This is for items not on the agenda.
Anybody want to give up their time? I'll speak for you guys.
Good evening, City Council members. Thank you. I want to first share or actually say thank you for providing the agenda in Spanish. That's a good start. I did notice that none of the attachments or other reports are translated, so I wanted to make note of that. Second, I would appreciate also, as a community member, what the last speaker just said. As voters, we should know who we're voting and electing and what the people we put in position are thinking about certain issues. What the least you could do is to host a workshop about the arbitration process. What does that mean? What does that look like? What's your role? What's our role? Because obviously, if you feel like we're coming to you and you are not the person or the people to go to, then educate the community to be able to have that resource and that information. Don't just leave people hanging. That is wrong. But today I came to support our zero waste plan. Again, thank you to all of you who have met with us and who have showed support for zero waste. We are very concerned about the delay to response to the Covanta letter that was issued on December 1st. It is March 12th. 3 months and 11 days after, we have yet to see a response to Covanta, which is a little frightening. This should be an easy solution. And I know that you have a really difficult job to assess what is next. So I do understand that. But I don't understand the hesitation because there's really no viable solution for Stanislaus Covanta to remain and do business here, to continue burning trash. For those of you in the audience who don't know, Covanta burns 800 or has a capacity to burn 800 tons of recyclable, compostable, and other materials in the county, which makes us produce and use more resources than we really need to, because we should be really focusing on reusing, reducing, recycling, repairing, and all the other E's before we incinerate. Our zero waste plan is a resource to you, and it really outlines the next steps. As Laura and John mentioned, we're asking for you to support the cessation, the end of waste incineration in our county. 2, to implement a zero waste goal. And 3, to establish a zero waste task force, a unified force that will work towards that zero waste goal. And that's how you should be able to sleep at night, saying goodbye to Covanta. There are many benefits. Some of them are the environmental impacts, conservation of resources, job creation, and financial stability. That's all you need We don't need Covanta. We need a zero waste school, and you must not delay. I'm really concerned about this delay. But make sure that you understand that you have resources in the community and that we have your back for a zero waste goal. Thank you.
You're welcome. I noticed that I missed one card. Damian Clinton. Is Damian here? Right.
Hi, as you all know, I'm Damian Clinton. I'm standing here on behalf of the Modesto City bike riders, mountain bikers, BMX. I just wanted to bring up what happened recently down at Dry Creek and why the jumps were flattened. My uncle has been riding there since he was a teenager. His father has been riding there since he was a teenager, and I have been riding there since I was ankles high. It's just a real big concern to me that those jumps definitely got flattened, because that's our only local dirt jumps other than the Modesto skate park, which is not really meant for bike riders. Those jumps have, as I said, they have been there for a while. Normally, I don't speak, so please bear with me, but we have major other issues going on within the Modesto and the community to be worrying about bike jumps. I'm just curious on why did they get flattened?
I would suggest again that you reach out to us, and we can certainly send you a thorough explanation of what happened.
I understand possibly it could be a safety issue, and if that is the case, we have trails running throughout that 4.5-mile course of what we consider Dry Creek, which is a beautiful land open to the public. I suggest everybody to go check it out. But it runs on the top of the golf course and alongside of the river, with cliffs leading up to 20 feet and trails running along the side of it. Especially down by Moose Park, there's a bunch of cliffs that are overhanging that are just taped off with caution tape and orange construction signs that are easily breakable by a toddler. I just wanted to put my state about that. Talking about underneath the highway along the west side of the highway, there is a pump track that has been recently built within the past 2 years that a lot of mountain bikers, and they're doing a wonderful job, and they have done a wonderful and amazing, added a bunch of texture to the land coming along with mountain bike trails, but I don't understand why they're allowed to keep what they have produced, and even though they're helping us doing what we're doing, why did ours get destroyed? And then, yeah, that would be it. You guys all have your email online, I'm assuming.
We do. And if you give your information, which one to, okay, Forrest will give you the contact information that we can get the information to you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward under public comment?
Thank you. I'm Kevin McClarty, District 1. And yes, this is my first time to speak publicly on the Lamantia case, although I have marched with the Lamantia family in the past. But I want to address it from a slightly different perspective. I want you to look at it from this perspective. Officer Lamantia did not follow the stated procedure for a Modesto police officer or for any police officer in that situation. He already had radioed for help, for backup. While waiting for the backup, he jumped out of his vehicle and proceeded toward Trevor. He then ordered Trevor to put his hands up. And Trevor did comply, he did put his hands up. Apparently, according to what I recall, Trevor lowered his hands, and that was when I think Officer Lamantia ordered him to raise his hands again, and he shot, I think, fired the first shot. At that point in time, since Trevor had been shot, I don't think he was able to raise his hands anymore. And Lamantia kept ordering him to raise his hands, and subsequent shots were fired. Now, let's get back to the fact that the Officer Lamantia did not comply with standard procedure of waiting for backup. The officer was supposed to retreat and kind of get into a position where he can see what's going on, but he's not aggressively invasive toward the subject, I guess is the best way to explain it. And he didn't do that. He took the opposite approach of running toward Lamantia. And so, look at it this way. Do you want to have an officer who does not follow stated procedure, who does not wait for backup, who retreats, who fails to retreat when he's supposed to, and fires at somebody who does not have their hands up, and after they've been wounded with a gunshot wound? Is that the kind of a person you want on your police force? So look at it from that perspective. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else wishing to come forward?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diego, and I am also here to talk about the demolition of the bike jumps at Dry Creek that previous speaker mentioned. I'm in high school, and I had the opportunity to listen to Mr. Williams' spiel at the Day of Respect at Modesto High, in which he mentioned that he uses his creative freedoms to sketch the kitchens of his customers. Is this correct, Williams? Thank you. And so he talked about how one must maintain and practice these creative freedoms. And by destroying these jumps, you take away this creative outlet that teenagers, kids, and adults all use. We are no longer able to express our creative freedoms on the bike, off the bike. We can express these creative freedoms by building trails, riding our bikes, making videos with our friends, anything that can get us outside and off of our fence. The first day that I saw the demolition, I emailed the city, and I got a response on the 29th of February. Thank you for that, by the way. However, you said that you were looking into this and that you would reach back when you got more information. However, since February 29th, I have not gotten any further information as to why these dirt jumps were demolished. This is not the first instance of mountain biking and outside recreation being underfunded by the city. Last year, we had a high school cross-country mountain bike race, which was a great success until torrential downpours caused the parking lot, which we were using, to become, it was a field of mud and cars were getting stuck. So this year, the league that we race under decided to cancel it because of the lack of parking lot. So it was proposed that gravel would be put onto this lot to avoid this field of mud being made. However, the city denied this gravel, and by denying the implementation of a gravel parking lot here, you reduce the appeal of mountain biking in the city to basically none, right? So at Dry Creek and the Tuolumne River Trails, which is where this race was held, I've met people from Manteca, Pleasanton, Stockton, Sonora, people from all around California, right? And these people are bringing money into this economy through the use of hotels, food, like bike shops in general, but by ignoring the needs of people that use these public spaces and enjoy the little greenery that we have in this city, you you were, first of all, destroying your own economy and repelling a lot of people from coming to Modesto in general. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Council and Mayor. Sorry, a bit nervous. My name is Nora. I work and live downtown, and because some people may recognize me as working in this building, I have to say these views are my own. I'd like to express my support for what Valley Improvement Project has said regarding the zero waste, and what everyone else has said regarding their concerns about Officer Lementia. But the reason I decided to stand up here is because I have concerns about the council perhaps not taking citizen concerns seriously. I've heard people say that they haven't heard back in responses to emails. I've heard people say that they didn't get proper response in regards to incidences with police officers. So I just want to stand up here and say that people who do regularly come to these meetings are watching the responses, and will also be contacting you regarding Officer Lementia and the concerns about the issues that have been brought here. And if emailing you does not work, we will take note and more people will show up in these meetings, and eventually the lack of response will be even more glaring than it is now. So I thank you for your time, and I hope that we do hear better of you. Thank you.
Mayor, I have a brief comment
go ahead.
on the statement. I've never received any emails regarding what this young lady mentioned about Lementia. So anyone who would like a response to their questions, you can email me. I answer all my emails, good and bad. So to say that we're not taking our citizens seriously is an underscore. I don't agree with that in 1 minute. Thank you.
All right. Any other members of the public that would like to speak during public comment time?
Hello, my name is Bobby Sachs. I've been a Modesto resident for roughly 8 years. As with some of these other people, I like to frequent the bike trail down Dry Creek probably 4 to 5 times a week. My daughter as well as other parks throughout the city, which they're beautiful parks, but as a whole, I feel like the tax dollars used in the maintenance of them and the enforcement of laws around the parks lacks. I've talked to a number of parents that also like the parks, but they're not willing to spend much time there because they're scared of their children going into a public restroom and the types of drug activities that may be going on, loot activities that I've personally seen, and I'm on the same board. I don't let my daughter into those situations. My point of the matter is, though, back to the jump situation. Some of my questions have already been answered as a way of reaching out to you guys, making contact and such. But I would like to really just say that I would like to see the city make an effort to reach out to citizens to figure out ways to implement improved ways of building these jumps, these trails, maintaining them rather than just coming in and isolating one area of the park that is, from my observation, and probably anybody that goes there would agree, the most popular part of that trail system. I've talked to many family members as I've been out there working with these people to work on these jumps that have talked about the family atmosphere, the old school vibe that it gives to someone at my age that used to ride bicycles in the 70s and 80s and jump. It's a very nostalgic feeling, and with no effort from the city to communicate to anybody, come in with a bulldozer and just wipe out people's efforts, but not having the done same to take efforts to keep up with homeless encampments, enforce laws regarding motorcycles that come through the parks, enforce laws regarding campfires. I frequent the parks, in the nights, particularly down that trail because I live right there on Edgebrook. There's campfires every single night in the park. I'm pretty sure that that's illegal, but you have a grassroots effort of tax-paying community citizens, young citizens that are trying to do wholesome, activities, and the answer from the city is to plow it. For what reason, I don't know. Now that I know how to reach out to you, I will be reaching out because I personally would like to figure out how we can work together to do something to maintain these jumps, rebuild them, and see that they stay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comment for items not on the agenda? All right. Next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? All right. Is there anyone in the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? I have one blue card for item 4, consent item 4, so that will be pulled. All right. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 3, consider approving the minutes for the March 5th, 2024 council meeting. Item 4 was removed from consent. Item 5, consider adopting a resolution of intention to renew the Modesto Tourism Marketing District for 10 years. Item 6, consider authorizing the submittal of a federal grant application for congestion mitigation and air quality grant funds in the amount of $1,200,000 and $800,000 in local Measure L funds for a project amount of $2 million for street improvements and installation of a roundabout on College Avenue and Bowen Avenue. Item 7, consider authorizing the submittal of a federal grant application for surface transportation block grant funds in the amount of $1,200,000 and $2 million in local Measure L funds for a total project amount of $3,200,000 for improvements on Claus Road, including bicycle and pedestrian improvements south of Scenic Drive to Yosemite Boulevard. Item 8, consider accepting an informational report on the September and October 2023 grant applications and awards. Item 9, consider amending the position allocation plan in the Modesto Fire Department to add 4 paramedics and 3 emergency medical technicians. Item 10, consider approving an agreement with 333 Arts out of Walnut Creek, California for installation of a professional public mural in the amount of $0. Item 11, consider approving a First Amendment to the cell tower site lease agreement at Creekside Golf Course with SBA Monarch Towers III, LLC to increase the lease area by an additional 108 square feet and to extend the maximum term of the agreement through May 1st, 2047. Item 12, consider approving the amended and restated agreement for maintenance services to the fleet maintenance agreement between the City of Modesto and Stanislaus Regional Transit Authority, amending the position allocation plan to add 1 administrative services technician, 3 equipment services technicians, 4 maintenance worker 1, and reclassifying 2 heavy equipment mechanics to 2 heavy equipment mechanic crew leaders, and authorizing the city manager or a designee to further increase the position allocations.
All right. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Bavaro.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Escudia Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky. Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escudia Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Next is consent item 4. Consider accepting the 2023 General Plan Annual Progress Report and authorizing staff to submit it to the state of California. And we will have a staff report from Jessica Hill.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Jessica Hill, Director of Community and Economic Development. So this item before you today is the annual report, which reports to the state of California regarding our housing element. So we're in our last year of our 5th cycle of housing element, which spanned from 2015 to 2023. A couple of highlights from our housing element this year. We had 184 planning applications, which resulted in the ability to plan for an additional 1,277 new units in the city of Modesto. During this year as well, we issued 261 building permits, 97 of those which were accessory dwelling units. And so the overall goal of the state's housing element, which cities comply with, is the ability to plan for additional housing units, a certain number of housing units, and track those over an 8-year period of time. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions from council members this time? All right, comments from the Public. Bianca Lopez?
I have maybe a couple of questions, clarifying questions about the general plan annual progress report. I believe Ms. Hill just came up here and presented about the housing element. Is that the only element that is?
Okay, so just direct your questions to
Oh,
me,
sure.
all of them, sure, and then she'll take note and respond.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the housing element is the only thing that you are submitting a progress report on. And then I have more follow-up questions.
Okay. All right, why don't you take a seat, and Jessica, you come up.
So in
Excuse me,
accordance-
I'm hearing, okay, are we, all right, go ahead.
So this is an annual progress report of overall our general plan, but the focus on the housing element. So this specifically outlines the housing chapter and the progress towards our housing element goals.
Thank you. So you are submitting a full progress report highlighting the housing elements. City council members, have you all read this proposal, this progress report, before submitting it to the state?
We're not going to do a question and answer from each council member.
I'm sorry, but the agenda states that I can ask clarifying questions.
So feel free to ask the questions, and then we can comment back to you if you give us your contact information.
Okay. I'd like to get information about whether you review these progress reports before you actually submit, or if you just really rely on your staff to do a good job and submit, and you just give them your blessing. Another question is, I actually was going to make a comment hoping that the young people here knew what the general plan is, and what are the next steps in the general plan?
All right, is that the entirety of your comments?
Depending on the answer, then I
Okay.
can, yeah.
All right.
I'm just
Go
looking
ahead, Jessica,
to
go
learn
ahead.
more about
Yeah.
the general
Go ahead,
plan.
take a seat, and she'll respond.
Okay, so in regards to the housing element and the report being submitted, it is an attachment to the staff report, and so all council members plus the public did see what to comment on what we are presenting to the state. In regards to the general plans, it is actually a separate thing than what was moving forward today. Our general plan updates and still in the beginning processes, and we're embarking on the land use alternative phase. I do anticipate we're going back out to the community towards the end of this month, mid-April, to really talk and get feedback regarding that next phase.
Clarify again the land use. What was the terminology?
It's the land use alternative phase, which really looks at the different zoning within the city, and then, you know, if and where the city would want to grow in the future.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to ask hard questions. I'm trying to understand what this is. And then last question, where can I find this progress report that is being submitted to the state? It's an attachment.
It's in the agenda packet and an attachment.
I see the MOU for South Modesto areas and the rehab project, and then something on the Modesto police.
It's online.
That was it. There was no attachment, there was no printout.
So in regards to the council agenda, all of the attachments, including the AR resolution as well as the annual report itself, is online, which I can send you the link for that as well.
I can find out.
Great, thank you.
Usually you print out the attachments to support.
That's
these
for items that
documents.
are not, we don't usually do that for all the consent items, just for the ones that are going to be publicly discussed.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments on consent item 4?
Yeah, this is John Mataka, Grayson Neighborhood Council, VIP. You know, I just have a comment. You know, historically, in the city of Modesto and Stanislaus County, not just you, but in this whole county in the city of Modesto, for the past 40, 50 years, the city or the county have never met their housing number that they're supposed to meet for low-income and very low-income housing. So I guess what's important for me is, of these 1,200 units that have been approved, how many of those 1,200 are for low-income and very low-income units? And I'll look online and I'll find out, because that is key considering the history. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other public comments on consent item 4?
So I have two questions. One, will the general plan also be available in Spanish?
We're just in the beginning phases. I can't speak to that right now, but please. It will be.
Okay, thanks. And then the second was, is there going to be, based on the conversations in regards to the lack of more creative and extra things for youth to do, is there integration of more investment into parks and outdoor spaces?
Yes, that's not on this item, so we are not free to talk about that because it hasn't been put on an agenda, but I appreciate you bringing it up.
Thanks.
It is part of the general plan, though.
The general plan will cover about everything. It's huge. All right, any other comments regarding item 4? Seeing none, I have an item to consider accepting a 2023 General Plan Annual Progress Report and authorizing staff to submit it to the State of California. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Wright, second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for item 4?
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Next is hearings. Item 15, a hearing to consider. Where am I?
Council comments?
Okay. Hold on. Been flipping through pages. Here we go. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. I do not see any names on my list. Councilmember Gutierrez-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. On Friday, I had the distinct opportunity to, as many of us have, I think in the last couple of weeks, had the opportunity to read to a group of students. My school that invited me was a school in my district, Chrysler Elementary School, and I read to the 5th graders. And it was just an absolutely delightful experience. So in Adriana's story, the individual that received the Woman of the Year award, her story reminds me of the book I read to these students. So when I looked at the classroom, it was filled. It was pajama day, by the way, and I said, I can't believe you guys didn't tell me it was pajama day. I could have come to this reading with my pajamas on. Anyways, they laughed. But they did like my tennis shoes because they were leopard print. They were pretty cool. Anyways, I selected a book about a young lady. They came from a foreign country, and she left the country that she was born and only knew, and she left her best friend to come to a new country and have new experiences, new exploration of food, a new language, new customs. And she acclimated, she knew, she went through this whole process. And then I told my story, and the little eyes that were looking at me were just, they were just fixated on me because they identified with the story of the book, they identified with my story, and it was just a really cool experience. It just exploded with questions about what I do, who I am, who I work with, what does it mean to be a council member, can they do it? They really saw themselves seeking a path similar to the one I did. And it was a really cool experience. And Adriana's testimony that she shared with us today really resonated with that particular story. So it was just a wonderful experience. And that was on Friday. Also, I want to take this opportunity to encourage all those interested in being informed about the upcoming redesign of Interstate 99 in Sanford to attend a community meeting that's going to take place here in this exact chamber at 5:30. It's going to be held this Thursday. Again, it's a community meeting to inform all community members about the upcoming possibilities of the improvements that are going to be made to 99 in Sanford. So anyone interested in that area, in that particular interchange, to come and be informed and have an opportunity to ask questions about that project. This project, a similar one, will follow approximately a year later with the improvement project for 99 and Briggsmore. So again, more information on that is on our website. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Ricky.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I want to talk about tonight is just Enslin Park. I've been getting a version of this letter pretty much every week. This is what I got this week. It says, Enslin Park needs major help. The last 2 or 3 weeks have been filled with shouting, fights, drug use, littering, etc., all while kids are playing on the baseball fields. Kids can't even use the restroom. What will it take to get focus on this? I'm going to continue to request that we clean out the drugs, prostitution, and violence from Griselda and Enslin Parks, and I'm hopeful that we can do better. I also want to call out our downtown streets team. But these guys aren't just cleaning up our downtown. Now they're out in our community, and they're cleaning up our neighborhoods. I was incredibly proud to get reports from neighbors thanking the city, thanking downtown streets team, and thanking our unhoused community for what they're doing to make Modesto cleaner. It's just fantastic work. I also want to thank the City of Modesto for working with some of our local car clubs, including Ranflas and Cali Fast Style, to support art and monuments reflecting cruising culture and its impact on Cesar Chavez Park. Remembering our past builds our future, and Modesto's future is bright. Thanks.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Saturday, the mayor, Councilmember Williams, Wright, and Rosa, myself, attended the Modesto Police Officers Association K-9 Crab Feed fundraiser. Actually, it was a great success. It was a sellout, and as a council member, I truly appreciated to see the strong support for the community to come out and not only support the Modesto police officers, but also their K-9 partners. You know, sometimes we take city maintenance and people who keep our city functioning for granted. Last Sunday, there was Councilman Wright noticed a water leak in my district. It had to be him. And we contacted the director, and you know, within hours, we had people out there from the utilities department. They were efficient, they were in and out, and they corrected the problem, and all the neighbors were very impressed and pleased. And I just wanted to make that comment and thank Director Will Long.
All right, Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me find my spot here. I wanted to respond to a couple of comments made by the public. I want to thank them for asking their questions and leaving early. But in regards to the jumps in Dry Creek, hell, I'd like to see that in District 2. Let's put that track underneath the 9th Street Bridge. We have our annual interscholastic NorCal Cycling League races there in the Trip area. They do it. We have city-owned skate parks, so liabilities is not a good argument. I would throw that out and put it into the skate park bucket. So I'm more than interested in exploring these creative, healthy alternatives for youth to take part in, rather than going down the drugs avenue or gang avenue. I think having a conversation with that group, hopefully they watch this film where somebody communicates with them, to have a conversation with my office so I can help them personally on moving the ball forward on this creative idea in District 2. In regards to responses to emails and the like, I don't think it's necessarily a response issue. I think it's oftentimes the folks that are emailing me, I can't speak for my colleagues here, but from my own perspective, it's loaded with falsehoods sometimes, and so I like to make sure that I'm having a conversation, a dialogue that's fruitful and substantive, rather than a one-sided kind of I'm the punching bag receiving all these hits. That's not what we do. That's not what I do. Now, if anybody's willing to have a fruitful conversation, substantive dialogue about any topic, I'm more than willing. My door is literally always open, and I'm there most of the week. I don't see anybody calling me. I don't see anybody reaching out to me other than an email that had the first sentence was a falsehood. And so I hope this is communicated to those folks that, again, made those comments and left prematurely again, as they do every single time. But I'm glad to know one of those gentlemen went to the same high school as me, so I know who he is, and I'm definitely looking forward to having this conversation. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge Adriana Garcia once again for her leadership. I think whenever we have Latino leaders in our community looked at and celebrated in a positive light, it enables all the other generations behind her to see that and say, you know, I could do that one day. That's literally what I did when I met her and her husband, Johnny Garcia, through the Hispanic Chamber. So kudos to her, and I'm looking forward to continuing my work alongside them in the community. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a little longer, Councilmember Bavaro and I had the opportunity to hang out with Director Will Wong and get a tour of all of the facilities that he runs and is the director over. And we're in good hands with the director, Will Wong, as well as all of his employees. And they have a great sense of pride for Modesto. It was great having that opportunity to spend with you. I think it was about 5 or 6 hours. And longer? And we enjoyed ourselves, Councilman Bavaro and I. Also, just last Thursday was a momentous occasion at the State Theater. We had the mayor, state of the city, who spoke very eloquently and did a wonderful job, as well as trying to keep her grandchildren at bay that evening. All of us were able to attend that, and the highlight of all of that was the Camp to Home movie. And I'd like to thank Mark Garcia and all of the individuals who put that together to make that possible. But beyond that, all of the caring individuals who actually are working with chat, working with the Camp to Home. It's just a phenomenal and awesome thing to see the compassion that people have for our citizens of Modesto. Lastly, Saturday was the 10K, 5K, and 2-mile run walk with a cop. And I believe it's Lieutenant Dodge. Is it Lieutenant? Sergeant Dodge, who actually put that together about 3 years ago. This is the third annual. The first annual, I was with my son, so I wasn't able to go. But the second was an abbreviation compared to what took place down on K Street, where there were at least, I would have to say, 500 or 600 runners. And I was privileged to be able to, no, I didn't do the 10K, no, I didn't do the 5K, but I did the 2-mile walk and run. And I survived that, enjoyed that, and was very uplifted by all of the young people who were in our community that came to actually express themselves in the run. Because life is a run and not so much a race, because it's not a competition. It's what you're able to do at your speed. And I'd like to thank Chief Ivan Valencia, who was also there along with others. But it was a great time with young people, getting some exercise and getting healthy. And of course, the mayor was there and spoke and did a wonderful job with that. So that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
David Wright, Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to thank you for the fine job you did Thursday night on State of the City Address, and also the 30-minute film, DVD or film on Camp to Home. I really encourage any citizen of Modesto to go onto Modesto City's Facebook page and click on the link and really watch the Camp to Home to see what we're actually doing here in Modesto. We're doing a lot of great things at giving people a hand up, getting people back into society, able to get jobs, able to get affordable housing, and move on with their lives. So my hat's off to the staff that put that together, and also my hat's off to our council that's really have a heart for our homeless, and we're working hard to make this a better city. Thank you.
Right, just a couple of comments. Last Thursday, I attended Catalyst, which was about empowering women, empowers community. And we had 4 brilliant panel members, young, bright women that are doing great things in the community. It was good to hear from them. Soon after that, I attended the Garden Club tree planting at the Senior Citizen Center for Arbor Day. And I think this just is another testament of the people that give time to our community. They're all volunteers, and it turns out that my former boss in the emergency room takes care of all of those trees. She volunteers and helps out. She does many, many other things in the community as well. State of the City, the highlight was definitely the Camp to Home documentary, so I'm going to say it a third time. For anyone listening, to be sure and watch that, and you will gain much knowledge, and people are really interested in what we're doing, and that was done so well and documents a lot of it. I attended the International Rescue Committee. The senior vice president was here from the United States, the executive director from Northern California, and the director from Turlock and Modesto, and we talked about asylum seekers and what we can do specifically surrounding housing. That seemed to be their main concern. 10K with a Cop was mentioned by Jeremiah. That was a brilliant event. However, this is a culmination of months of Detective Dodge meeting with the children in all the schools in Modesto, as well as even in Manteca. The chief of police from Manteca joined us also. And he spends months with the children training together for this event. My understanding is that there was 1,300 children that participated. And this also is a part of the Healthy Families Initiative, where we just, to my understanding, our Modesto Police Department just did their 100th bedroom for children. It's a complete renovation for children that have shown character traits and participated in the program. So, and the person that's in charge of that throughout the country expressed to me a year ago when I talked to him, he said, what we do in the Modesto Police Department is exponentially better than what happens in any other community. So once again, we're shining brightly, and I appreciate everyone and the difference that you're making in the lives of the children in our community. That wraps up my report. I do not see any other names listed under comments and reports, so does the city manager have any comments and reports? All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is unfinished business. Item 13, consider approving the plans and specifications for the West Trunk Sewer Rehabilitation Project, accepting the bid and awarding a construction contract to SAK Construction, LLC of O'Fallon, Missouri, in the amount of $17,871,543, authorizing 12% for contingency if needed, for a total payment amount not to exceed $20,016,129. And we will have a staff report from Will Wong.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm Will Wong, Director of Utilities. And I'm actually here to introduce Chris Chatau, our Engineering Division Manager, who is going to give a presentation on this very important project. Chris?
Thank you, Will. Mayor, Council members, City Manager, good evening. So I'll be presenting the West Trunk Sewer Rehabilitation Project tonight. Let me see if I can... forgot which one. Yeah, that's the one I pressed. So our wastewater collection system master plan identified the west trunk as being one of the trunks that needed rehabilitation due to the stage of erosion of those concrete pipes, existing concrete pipes. The west trunk is probably around just a little bit over 9 miles long, carries almost 35% of our domestic sewer system through our to our Jennings and then down, I'm sorry, to our Sutter and then down to Jennings for secondary and tertiary treatment. This first phase of West Trunk, we're going to rehabilitate approximately 8,400 linear feet of pipe. The method we choose to rehabilitate is CIPP, which is not cast in place, but cured in place pipe. It's basically a flexible liner that goes inside the pipe and then inflates, and through a heat source, being steam or water or UV, it hardens, provides us a smooth surface inside, and then it also provides structural integrity to the existing pipe. Because we're using this kind of system, CIPP, cured in place pipe, we identify different locations throughout the city. We can see it in this exhibit that will have to be will be rehabilitated through the same process. This provides minimum disruption, being not an open excavation trench. On the top picture over there, we show the 8,400 linear feet of pipe all the way from Paradise Road all the way to Sutter. That's the west trunk on the bottom left. It's a portion on the southern outfall line. We have a pump that pumps the primary treated effluent to Jennings. We also have approximately 135 linear feet at the entrance of the Sutter plant over there by Headworks. On the left-hand side, we'll see two siphons that go under the river, 60-inch. One is for the cannery segregation line. The other one is for domestic. The state requires us to inspect the line and provide a report. And then we have Santa Rosa trunk, Emerald trunk, and Lakewood trunk that also will be rehabilitated through the same process. This project was advertised on the Planet Bids on December 5th last year. The bids were opened on January 23rd this year. We have received 3 bids. SAK Construction LLC was the most responsible bidder with the lowest responsive bid. Their bid was just below the engineer's estimate, like 0.71%. The total estimated cost of this project, it's approximately $21,316,129. This includes the contract, the contingency, construction administration staff for inspection, and the engineering design support during construction. So as such, staff recommends awarding a contract with SAK Construction LLC for a total amount not to exceed of $20,016,129, and also amending the fiscal year 23-24 for an amount of $15,024,837. With this, if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right, Councilmember Wright.
Thank you for the presentation. So my understanding is the new sewer line or trunk, we don't have to dig up the whole row.
No, that's...
It goes right in. When it gets to the end, it expands, and it breaks the old... does it break the old pipe up, or it just it's just inside the old pipe?
Yeah, it's like a liner inside. So basically the process is they go inside, they go and they clean the pipe with all the debris, what's existing there, and then this liner is very flexible. It's much like, let's say, a fire hose, except it's a large diameter. They run it through the pipe, and then they inflate it, and with steam or hot water or UV light, it hardens. And the existing pipe stays there, but this liner provides also structural integrity of the existing liner.
So it's basically the same process that local plumbers use for residential replacing of pipes and stuff, which is really nice instead of us having to tear up the roads.
Exactly.
And probably more cost effective because we're not having to dig up miles of pipe and replace them and then replace the roads. So
that's correct.
It's great.
Yeah, and less disruptions.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember White.
All right, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Kristen, the SAC Construction LLC, have they done any work for us before?
I don't remember myself.
Okay. And then second of all, it's very aggressive that you got the bids on December the 5th, and now it was open on the 23rd of January of 2024. So how long will this take to, is this going to be in phases or what?
No, it's going to be, this is kind of like means and methods of construction. The contractor is going to provide a schedule of how the project is going to be developed, and is going to be submitted to our staff. Our construction administration group will review it and approve it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Scooty Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Christian, for the presentation. Does the agreement allow for addendums or beyond the initial year?
No, it's the contract basically. That's why we have a contingency, just in case some unforeseen conditions would appear. It will give us the opportunity to address those issues as they arise.
Okay, so the contract is for a time, or is it for just the completion of the project?
It's the completion of the project.
I see.
Yeah.
And how about in terms of budget? If they were to assess that the cost of the needed material was more than previously anticipated, how would that be addressed?
Yeah, I at this point, they will have to submit a change order request, and if it's legitimate, then we look at it and it will be paid through the contingency. But we're not anticipating at this point, because that's why we received the bids, they have to hold the price.
Great. Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions regarding item 13? All right. I will open this up to the public. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on item 13? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion to consider approving, oh, wait a minute, I've got two resolutions, and we'll vote on them together. Resolution approving the plans and specifications for the West Trunk Sewer Rehabilitation Project, accepting the bid and awarding a construction contract to SAK Construction LLC of O'Fallon, Missouri in the amount of $17,871,543, authorizing the Director of Engineering Services to approve change orders up to the cumulative amount of $2,144,586, 12% of the original contract price, for a total amount not to exceed $20,016,129, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the contract. A resolution amending the fiscal year 2023 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $15,024,837 to fund the construction phase of the West Trunk Sewer Rehabilitation Project, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to implement the provisions of the resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Wright, and a second? Go ahead.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Bavaro, and will the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmembers Cloutier Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Wallen.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, we're going to take a 5-6 minute break till 7:25.
fish.
All right, we're ready to go? We're ready to go.
He's just joking.
All right, item 14, correct? I believe so. Consider a memorandum of understanding with Stanislaus County for the South Modesto Area Strengthen and Replace Water Mains Project in an amount not to exceed $12,699,454. And we will have a staff report.
Yeah, so the second presentation I'm going to be presenting tonight is the Memorandum of Understanding for the South Modesto Area Strengthen and Replace Water Main Project. Another glitch? No? Okay. So Stanislaus County received some ARPA funds for their projects to repair some streets, to do some streets improvement in two neighborhoods, Bret Harte and Park Lawn neighborhoods. Our water master plan also identified some of the water mains in those two neighborhoods that needed to be replaced due to the fact that they are old and rusted and susceptible to leakage and not holding enough pressure for the fire hydrants. And so we wanted to team up with the county to put these projects together, to send it out to bid. The ARPA funds requires that the project has to be sent out to bid basically by summer this year. So we want to work together with the county and work in parallel and tandem. They prepare their portion, and we will prepare our portion of the project to replace the water mains in order to prevent any disruption or double work if we come later on after the streets are being installed by the county. So this memorandum of understanding will allow the city and the county to collaborate on the design and construction efforts. Basically, the county consultant will provide the design for our water system, and the city staff will review the design to make sure it complies and it meets our standards. And then the city will reimburse the county for the consultant design effort as well as in construction. Also, an advantage is that the county agree to waive the encroachment permits for the trenching in those two areas, which are pretty substantial. They can mount up to $700,000. So this is the Bret Harte neighborhood that's right now on the screen in this exhibit. It's bordered by Las Vegas Street on the west, Glen Avenue on the south, Cross Landing on the east, and East Hatch Road on the north. With the blue lines shown in this exhibit are identified all the water mains that are going to be replaced throughout the neighborhood. Approximately 3,500 linear feet of water main, and the cost savings by waiving the encroachment permits from the county are about $400,000. The next area is to the east, and this is the Park Lawn neighborhood adjacent to Highway 99. It's bordered by East Hatch Road again on the north, Pearson Avenue on the west, Park Lawn and Nelson Way on the south, and Morgan Road as it goes parallel with the 9th Street on the east. In this neighborhood, we're going to be replacing in this project approximately 12,000 linear feet of water mains. We'll also be replacing hydrants and adding them just to meet our standards as the City of Modesto standard specification requires. So total on those two neighborhoods, we almost have just a little bit over actually 8 miles of water lines. Anticipated project expenditure, which includes the engineering services and construction, engineering design, and support during construction, as well as the construction administration, It's about $13,079,312. Again, we won't know the exact number until the project, we receive the bids for the project. So the staff recommends in entering into memorandum of understanding with the Stanislaus County for the South Modesto area strength and replace water main projects in the amount not to exceed $11,829,312, and amending the fiscal year 23-24 for an amount of $11,829,312. With this, if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right, questions from council members. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Really quick on this project, I know it's in conjunction with the county and the water mains that will be going in. Is there going to be any annexation to the
Not
city?
on this project, sir.
Not on this project with the county? It's just basically services is what's
Yes.
going to be provided. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have two quick questions. You mentioned that additional pressure was needed for fire prevention and for in case there is a fire. I would imagine it's just something I hadn't really thought a lot about.
Yeah, due to the old existing system, the pipes are undersized. Some of them are 4 inches, and like I said, they are steel and they rust. So a lot of water it's being lost, and it cannot maintain, being so old, it cannot maintain the 50 pounds or 60 pounds per square inch pressure that our system requires. And so by changing those pipes, providing an adequate size and good material like PVC will provide the flow rates that we need as well as the pressure needed in the system.
Interesting. I always think of like shower pressure and in homes, but that's really important for safety. Will the streets be disrupted for this?
Well, that's the advantage. The county has the project to repair streets, sidewalks, gutter, and curbs. And so if we go with our project at the same time, basically having the same contractor executing this project, they will install the lines first and then do the streets. So we don't have to redo it.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Will there be adequate availability for emergency vehicles? Because that's a lot of homes. It looks like.
Oh yeah, that's essential. Absolutely, It's in our standard specifications where they require always to have access for emergency vehicles.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other questions regarding item 14 from council members? All right, any comments from the public regarding this item? Seeing none? Pardon me? Okay. Would you like to clarify? All right, I had a question about the amount in the amount listed in the PowerPoint as opposed to what's in the resolution.
And just confirming the amounts in the resolutions in the packet are correct. I know that the slide had a different amount.
I see I don't have the amount in the resolution.
In the PowerPoint, it says $11,829,312, and in the agenda item resolution, it says $12,699,454.
Yeah, I believe the resolution is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that.
And then in the second one, it's also different.
Yeah, whatever is presented in the agenda report and resolution is correct.
The engineer design is excluded, construction administration is excluded, and the city construction forces is excluded.
Yeah, the engineering design services agreement, it's 1.14 million with 10% contingency. Construction, again, at this point, the construction cost is unknown because the project has not been bid. So basically, the engineering, it's the one that's we will have to.
The resolutions are correct.
The resolution is correct.
Okay, all right. So I have two resolutions that we can vote on together. Resolution approving a memorandum of understanding with Stanislaus County for the South Modesto Area Strengthen and Replace Water Mains Project in an amount not to exceed $12,699,454 and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. A resolution amending the fiscal year 2023 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $13,889,454 to be transferred into the project from water fund reserves to fund the South Modesto Area Strengthen and Replace Water Mains Project and authorizing the city manager or his designee to implement the provisions of the resolution. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Vice Mayor Alvarez and a second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky. Aye. Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Next item is hearings. Item 15, a hearing to consider approving the application and issuance of a permit to operate as a non-emergency medical transport company to Active Transport Medical Services, LLC, in the City of Modesto. And we will have a staff report. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Claudia Souza, Lieutenant, Modesto Police Department, currently assigned to the Investigative Services Division. Tonight I will be presenting to approve a non-emergency transport application for Active Transport Medical Services, which is a non-emergency medical transport here within the City of Modesto. The non-emergency medical transport permit process, per the Modesto Municipal Code, this outlines the requirements for companies wishing to operate non-emergency medical transports within the City of Modesto. Interested parties must submit an application, required documentation, and a filing fee of $1,000. The police department then conducts a thorough background investigation. Active Transport Medical Services, LLC, has completed and submitted the application, has provided the required documentation, and they have paid the $1,000 filing fee. The Modesto Police Department has reviewed and approved the application and concluded the background investigation with no issues found. Currently, we have 12 permitted ambulance companies approved to operate within the city limits. Attached here is photos of the vehicles that they will be using to conduct their business within the City of Modesto. The staff recommendation is to approve the applications and issuance of a non-emergency medical transport permit to the medical transportation company. And I do apologize, I see that says Remedy Medical Transportation on there. This is actually for the Active Transport Medical.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that report. Council, have any questions of staff? I'll now open the public hearing. Any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 15? Seeing none, I'll close the public comments. Any comments from council members? All right. I have a resolution approving the application issuance of a permit to operate as a non-emergency medical transport company to Active Transport Medical Services, LLC, in the City of Modesto. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Alvarez. Thank you very much. Next is item 16, a hearing.
Mayor, the roll.
Oh, sorry. I guess we need a vote.
The roll.
Roll call. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Alvarez. Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Next is item 16, a hearing to consider approving the application and issuance of a permit to operate as a non-emergency medical transport company to Remedy Medical Transportation in the City of Modesto. We will have a report.
Good evening. Just as in the item number 15, this is an application for Remedy Medical Transportation to operate as a non-emergency transport within the City of Modesto. Per the municipal code, they have, it outlines the requirements for companies wishing to operate non-emergency medical transports within the city of Modesto. Again, they must submit an application. They must fill out the required documentation and file a fee of $1,000. And then the police department will conduct a thorough background investigation. Remedy Medical Transportation has completed and submitted the application. They have provided the required documentation and paid the $1,000 filing fee. The Modesto Police Department has reviewed and approved the application and concluded the background investigation with no issues found. Now, at the writing, there was 12 permitted. Now there will be 13. With this will be 14 permitted ambulance companies approved to operate within the city limits, and attaches a photo of Remedy Medical Transportation's van that they will be using to provide that medical transportation within the city. The staff recommendation is to approve the application and issuance of a non-emergency medical transport permit to Remedy Medical Transportation. With that, are there any questions?
All right, does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So how many more could we actually have if there were more that wanted to? I'm just wondering what the cap is on this.
Currently, there is no cap. However, pre-COVID, we did have in excess of 20 medical transports, and this is to initiate transport from the city of Modesto, not necessarily to transport to Modesto, but to initiate that transport from the city of Modesto.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Scooty Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Does this business, Remedy Medical Transportation, have any affiliation with any other business in the city of Modesto that goes by the same name?
They do not.
Thank you.
All right. Any other? Rosa, your name is up again.
Hi, sorry.
All right, Vice Mayor Alvarez.
I'm going to just kind of piggyback on that question. So is this company doing business as this name and is owned by another larger parent company? Or is this exclusively this company here?
This is exclusively this company here, yes.
All right, any other questions from council? I will now open the public hearing. Any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding item 16? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Excuse me. I have a resolution approving the application and issuance of a permit to operate as a non-emergency medical transport company to Remedy Medical Transportation in the city of Modesto. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Wright, second by Councilmember Scooty Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scooty Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, carries unanimously. All right.
No
Thank
cap,
you very
Jeremiah.
much.
No cap.
No cap, Jeremiah. No cap.
It's a serious thing, no cap.
No cap.
Okay.
Next item is new business. This is item 17. Consider approving a legal services agreement with Redwood Public Law, LLP, Oakland, California, to provide city attorney services for the city and reappoint Jose M. Sanchez as city attorney effective March 15th, 2024, and approving the modification to the legal services agreement with Myers-Nave effective March 14th, 2024 for limited special counsel legal services. And we will have a staff report.
Hi, Mayor. I will take this item if you don't mind.
Sure.
So Myers-Nave has been our contract city attorney and special counsel for the city of Modesto since the fall of 2013. Subsequently, on June 9th of 2020, council approved a First Amendment to this agreement appointing Jose Sanchez as city attorney. On March 15th, Jose Sanchez will no longer be employed with Myers-Nave, but rather employed by Redwood Public Law, LLP. In closed session last week, the City Council provided a favorable performance evaluation of the City Attorney in closed session. Accordingly, it is recommended that the City Council reappoint Jose Sanchez as City Attorney and approve the legal services agreement with the law firm Redwood Public Law, LLP, effective March 15th, 2024. It's important to note that the terms and conditions, including the hourly rates with public law, will be identical to those existing with the existing City Attorney Legal Services Agreement, the one that exists today. In order to maintain continuity on existing litigation matters, we are requesting to modify the existing legal services agreement with Myers-Nave to eliminate the city attorney designation and the city attorney legal assignments, but have Myers-Nave continue with existing specialty legal services assignments at my direction. It is anticipated that the new legal services agreement with Redwood Public Law will have similar fiscal impacts as the prior city attorney legal agreement, and there will be no increased costs. It's just normal day-to-day associated with providing legal services to the city. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, any questions from council members regarding item 17? All right. I will open this item up to the public and ask any members of the public to come forward regarding this item. Seeing none, I will close public comments. Are there any comments from council members? Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's an excellent plan for our city to be able to carry on with the services from Jose Lopez, excuse me, Sanchez. Wrong Jose, sorry. Put the cap on, okay. We're very fortunate to have him on our side, I should say, working with us, and he has been a breath of fresh air for me as a new city council member here with the City of Modesto. I'm very thankful for his loyalty, his passion for this city, and all I can say also is congratulations.
All right, any other comments from council members at this time? Seeing none, I will call for, we have a resolution approving a legal services agreement with Redwood Public Law, LLP, Oakland, California, to provide city attorney services for the city and reappoint Jose Sanchez as city attorney effective March 15th, 2024, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement, and approving the modification to the legal services agreement with Myers-Nave, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the necessary action to execute this modification. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved
Second.
by Councilmember Scudia-Brayton, second by Councilmember Ricky. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
And Mayor Swallen.
Aye. So the motion carries unanimously. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? I am seeing none. I'm calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.